Welcome to this new video, where we'll discuss the latest news about the game Clutch. Let me quickly remind you of the concept of the game in case you've never heard of it. It's an open-world racing game that will take place in France, more specifically on the French Riviera, and it's being developed by former developers of Forza Horizon. We can sum up the project as a Forza Horizon set in France, with a need for speed influence, both in terms of customization and story. The game was revealed on June 2, 2026, but yesterday, during the Summer Game Fest conference on June 5, 2026, the game's developers were present and released a new trailer, which contains some new information that I wanted to share with you about the game. There are quite a few interesting little things in this trailer, even though it's very short. So today, we're going to analyze it together. But first, I want to share another piece of good news with you. The contest is back, giving you a chance to win the game of your choice in partnership with Instant Gaming. You can enter through the giveaway link, which will be in a pinned comment below this video. The drawing will take place automatically on June 30, 2026. And if you win, you can simply ask for the game of your choice. You can also request Game Pass subscription cards or PSN cards, so don't hesitate to enter the contest. And don't forget that by using this same link, you can go to Instant Gaming to buy all your games cheaper than anywhere else while giving a little support to my channel. Obviously, if you notice anything else interesting in this trailer, feel free to mention it in the comments. And feel free to check out the first video I made about the game a few days ago to get, so to speak, the basic information about Clutch. Perfect. One of the new details in this trailer is a slightly more specific release date, even though for now, it's not completely precise. At first, it was just announced for 2027. Now it's set for spring 2027. So basically, we'll have to wait about another year to be able to play the game. Let me remind you that it's coming out on PC, Xbox Series, and PlayStation 5. The footage you're about to see here is a mix of cinematics and in-game engine footage. So in terms of graphics, for the final result, it should look pretty much like this. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, but personally, I think it looks pretty impressive. I even think that at first glance, the game can already hold its own against Forza Horizon. And there are even some aspects, especially the character design, where I actually think the game does even better. Because Horizon 6 clearly, and that's not a big deal, it's not important, since we're still talking about a racing game where you don't really pay much attention to the characters because there's not really a story. Well, the characters are pretty bland, there's not really any animation, or even any real facial movement. Here, since it's a game that's really going to have a story, they've focused on the characters and character animations, and it's true that on that point, well, it's incomparable. The point really goes to Clutch. So, indeed, there are some pretty interesting new images of the open world, with some good little updates as well. I see two main big ones, mostly. Well, three, if we add the fact that it actually looks pretty good. The first pretty cool thing is that, as a newly confirmed location, there's Monaco. You can actually see the port, and you can see some of Monaco's very famous streets. And, above all, you can also see that there's a sequence on the racetrack at the beginning of this trailer, since, indeed, the game will revolve around illegal competition, but also around legal racing, through the official racing championship, R1K. This track doesn't exist in real life, it was made for the game. Some areas shown early in the trailer still closely resemble the real Monaco circuit. So, I'm not saying it's certain, but let's say it's likely that in this Monaco of Clutch, we'll find a track inspired by the official Monaco circuit, which is still pretty cool. And the third little thing I noticed, now this is more of a small detail than anything else, you can see in the background that there are pedestrians. So, the thing is, like I was saying, this is a mix of images from the game engine and cinematics, so it's hard to know if we'll actually have pedestrians in the open world. The reason I'm mentioning it is because it's something that's often criticized in modern games. There aren't many pedestrians in open-world racing games anymore, which makes them feel a bit lifeless. Here, if Lacerna is present, that's a good sign for life on the map. But like I said, it might just be in the cinematics. Another thing confirmed in this trailer about car customization, which we hadn't really noticed until now, is that Clutch will feature nitro in its cars. Of course, what this trailer highlights is the story of the game. And here, this is really an important point because this game has really focused on storytelling and the story to set itself apart from Forza Horizon. As I mentioned in the introduction, it's somewhat like Need for Speed. The story isn't very clear yet, or at least I haven't fully understood it. Well, maybe it's because I'm tired. I'm recording this video pretty late after the end of the Summer Game Fest conference. All I understood is that we're going to play as the character Theo, who is a well-known driver in the R1K Racing Championship, which I mentioned earlier, who had a major crash during one of the events in this championship, where there were several fatalities, several drivers who died, but also several who were seriously injured. From what I understood, after this accident, our character Theo is going to try to distance himself from the championship. And at that point, an outside organization will force Theo to use his driving skills for criminal activities. If I understood correctly, there will be robberies, thefts, and other illegal activities that will be committed, all based on driving gameplay. So, once again, I'm not sure I completely understood the story and where it's going. What I can say is that alone is already more than the storylines of all the Forza Horizon games combined. Let me remind you that in Forza Horizon, the concept is just that you arrive, you're a driver, you have to create your own racing festival and simply become the best driver. For now, we don't know any more about the story. I think we'll find out more in the coming days. We only know it was written by the screenwriter behind Skins and Other Works, so it's by a real screenwriter. I also wanted to go back to several little things that were shown here, or confirmed. Like, for example, we are indeed dealing with an open-world racing game here. That was clarified during the Summer Game Fest conference. Indeed, once this game was announced as a narrative racing game, quite a few players started to think it would be a fairly linear, tightly structured game. No, it will definitely be an open-world game. So, we'll be free to explore the map pretty much as we like. Now, will there be an economy system? Will there be things to do in the open world? We don't really know for now. But it will definitely be an open-world racing game. It's also confirmed that there will be off-road races as well. So, it won't just be racing on asphalt, but there will probably also be the possibility to explore the map off the main roads by taking the small dirt paths. It's also confirmed that there will be police, and not just police cars. You can see it at the end of this little trailer. There are also helicopters. So, it's not just regular police and it won't be occasional. What I mean by that, after the first trailer, since we're used to being, how can I put this nicely, getting tricked. They promote one thing, but in the end, during the final game, we see it's actually very different. Many people began to believe the police would be very rare in the game. Some people didn't believe in the presence of the police in this game so much that they even came up with theories like, yeah, I bet it's a scene where you play as a stuntman who has to do a chase scene during a movie shoot. But no, there will definitely be regular police chases. At least that's what this trailer suggests. We see a lot of police cars and a lot of chase scenes that take place at different times of the day. Another thing that seems to be confirmed with the very latest images from this trailer is that indeed, some cars will have accessories. Now, I don't think these are things we'll be able to use in the open world. That still needs to be confirmed, of course. But indeed, some cars will have, for example, grappling hooks or other accessories that will simply allow them to accomplish different objectives, like grabbing an object, hooking onto the helicopter, maybe to bring it down, or hooking onto certain walls to use them as pivot points and turn faster. It's also confirmed that there are indeed body customizations. I don't know why, but some people didn't notice it in the first trailer. But indeed, the cars have wide body kits. The cars also have simpler body parts, or, in any case, maybe less extreme ones. You can see that the R34 doesn't have exactly the same kit depending on the shot, for example. In the back, there's a nice little nod to the M3 GTR from Most Wanted. Let me know if you spot it. And it's literally the opposite of the M3 GTR from the original Most Wanted. Now, we just have to wait for some gameplay to really see what it's going to be like in terms of driving and graphics in the actual open world. Because honestly, the first images from this trailer are really beautiful. The casinos, the fountains, the environment, Monaco, it's all beautiful. The good news is that we'll be getting gameplay very soon, on June 10, 2026. We'll have the first gameplay footage. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll share updates as soon as possible. Meanwhile, let me know in the comments what you think of this second trailer. Does it hype you up, or did it cool you down a bit? Are you like me, one of those people who really wants to believe in it? Because the game checks a lot of boxes. I mean, it looks like the perfect game, a mix between Forza, Horizon, and Need for Speed. But at the same time, we've been a bit traumatized by supposedly promising games that, unfortunately, often end up being a bit disappointing. So, let me know what you think in the comments. How hyped are you for this game out of 10? If you have questions, leave them in the comments. For now, it's true that we don't have much information. And honestly, I've only shared with you what's official and everything we can see so far. If you think the game looks cool and you enjoyed this video, feel free to show it by leaving a like. And don't hesitate to join me on Twitch because right now there are a lot of conferences where there's news about this kind of game. And I also regularly stream a lot of games, racing or otherwise. If you found me through this video and want to chat live about this or other games, follow the pinned link in the comments and subscribe to support my channel. We'll see each other soon for gameplay footage and maybe new info about Clutch. We'll also meet again in other videos. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.